check out our new sponsor, the Health Blaze. All the information is in the description. Use the promo code above. Goodfellow Unboxing at 18% off of all their natural products, from deodorant, pomade, toothpaste, and much, much more. And they have additional discounts on their website as well. That's thehealthblaze.com. Starting December 20th. That promo code is good for 18% off. We go. All right, man, we back. Goodfellow Sports TV. Appreciate the love, support. Keep sharing the videos. And hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. Won't miss another video. And apparently, well, I think a lot of people saw last night, Terence Crawford did a Q&A on Twitter. And I got to say, most of y'all was right. He says that he might have to move up, and I put it on the screen. He may have to move up to 154 pounds because of boxing politics. And I just talk about how I think he'd do at 154. But check out our sponsor while y'all at it, the Health Blaze at thehealthblaze.com. Promo code Goodfellow Unboxing, get you 18% off the 100% all natural products, lotion, soaps, foot soaps, bath bombs, deodorant, toothpaste, hair pomade, much, much more. That website, promo code Goodfellow Unboxing, get 18% off. Is in the description. Excuse me. I remember Bob Arum said he think he was asked when, this is like maybe last year. He asked where he think Crawford and Lomachenko was gonna top out at, and he said Loma probably can't get one more higher than 35. He don't know if Crawford can go no higher than 147 pounds. And people got to realize, I think Crawford turned 32 or 33 in September. So, I mean, people say Floyd did it and Pacquiao did it at a catch weight, but you got to stop comparing these new dudes to Floyd and Pacquiao. Those were generational talents. I'm not saying that Crawford can't be a generational talent, but everybody not the same, In the division, it's not the same. You feel what I'm saying? I have my doubts about how I think Errol Spence would do at 54. But if I just had to look at it, I think his transition will be a little bit more easier. And I think a lot more easier to 54 than Crawford, because he fought at 152 pounds in the amateurs. His transition will be a little bit more easier to me because of his natural size. He started off at 47. Or 54. Crawford started off at 50. Errol started off at 54. So he already know what it's like to carry that weight and what to deal with. But if I just don't, I'm gonna get to the point where I don't get why is he going to 54? Okay, because it makes no sense. Because he's still stuck in no man's land. At 54, in my opinion. But if that's what he want to do, then that's what he want to do. I seen it on the Boxing Voice. Shout out to them. They did a stream on it this morning. He be doing like I be doing. I get up, in the morning, and I see, I check the inboxes, check my sources, check the outlets, and see what what's to talk about in boxing or whatever else going on. I might do that a few times a day, and then if I run into something, then I do a video on it. So. Same thing everybody else doing, searching, politicking for something to talk about. But shout out to them. The one thing that made the headlines last night, I did a video on it, was he said that he don't think Earl ducking him. Okay. But, in my opinion, him going up to 154 pounds is just the same, saying he's going to be stuck in neutral. All right. If they grant him super WBO champion status, and the super WBO champion status is that once you earn that at division, you can move up a weight class. I don't know if you can move down, but you can move up a weight class and automatically become a mandatory. So with ESPN and the Zone working together, he would already become the mandatory for Jaime Munguia. So they can send it to purse bid. They can work out a deal about Munguia coming over to ESPN or sending Crawford over to the Zone, or it can go to a purse bid. Or Munguia can move up and let Crawford fight for the WBO, and he would be a 1, 2, 3, 4-time 4-division champion. But I mean, would that serve? What purpose would that serve for Terence Crawford? All right, real talk. What purpose would that serve? Premier Boxing Champions they don't acknowledge the WBO belt. In all the big fights at 54 is, and I said this before, about him moving up to 54. All the big fights over there, other than Jaime McGee, if you consider that a big fight, are with PBC. Tony Harrison, Charlo. You know, they should be fighting for the the WBC belt again. J.Rock and Herb will be fighting for the 154-pound supremacy with the Super WBA and the IBF belt. But J.Rock won, you know, earlier this year. So is it a fact that Al Heyman, you know, would believe that his 154-pounders had a better chance at beating Terence Crawford than his welterweights since they bigger and they stronger, and a lot of them are probably more athletic than the welterweights, and that's my problem when I got with Terence Crawford and a little bit of Errol Spence going up there. Tony Harrison is not more athletic than every welterweight, you know, out there. Any bigger, stronger, he can crack. Jamil Charlo, another one. He just as athletic, if not more athletic, than every 147-pound out there. And he can crack. Erickson Lubin, at the worst, he a baby still, rebuilding this up. He can crack. Southpaw, he can crack. J.Rock, him and Jamil Charlo are the two most complete when Jamil Charlo clicking on all cylinders. But J.Rock is the most complete fighter up there, and he seemed to generate some power versus Jared Hurd. He can fight on the inside, outside. He can be defensive when he wants to. He do have his lapses. But he ain't no joke. You know, he can get on his toes and box, and, you know, the pride of Philly. I mean, who else you got up there? Jared Hurd still up there. Physical guy. You know what I'm saying? Real physical kid that can really bring the pain. Okay, like he Method Man. Can walk you down. If he walking down career 154-pounders, he probably gonna walk down your average welterweight. You gonna have to be special to beat him. Special. You gonna have to be a special type of fighter to beat him. Coming up from you starting your career off at lightweight. Shit, some people think if Jared Hurd, you know, returned to form J.Rock in a rematch and beat him, some people, you know, don't think Errol Spence could beat him. I always said I thought Errol Spence would beat him due to his ability to work the body and having a strong jab and being a strong fighter. And already being at 54 before. So, like, it makes no difference. Unless he's doing it for accolades and to pad his resume up, it makes no difference. You in the same predicament, unless Al just believe he got the better fighters. But if they truly blackballing you out, it would behoove you to be a Super WBO champion. He would have to go get ranked in another sanctioned belt body and force it mandatory. And all the politicking that's going on, by the time he get that mandatory, he may be 35, 36 years old. It was the same thing I was trying to explain about people with Errol Spence in the WBC. Why he went for the IBF. But if that's what he want to do and he got lined up, he said the way things falling, he may have to go to 154 pounds. But nigga, you in the same position. Do they look at the rankings? Do boxing ever, you know, boxers ever just look at the politics and the landscape that the fans do or the media do? Or are they dumbfounded? Do they not hear the stories about what Don King did back in the day? But you still got idiot fighters that signed to Don King, right? And they still, Charles Hadley, Amir Ahman, still taking them to court. You know, people see about Bob Arum, how he treat the brothers. Allegedly. Do they not look at the landscape and say, oh, that's the PBC? And maybe Al Heyman feel that, hey, they can whoop Terence Crawford. They more athletic than the welterweights. I believe in them. They bigger. You know what? They can whoop on Crawford. You know, I'm just going to protect my welterweights from him. And, hey, fair game. Square business. He lead that division. He dropped that welterweight belt. I guarantee you, if Olympias get that belt, if he get in a position to fight for that belt versus Ingus or Custio Clayton or whoever else, I guarantee you then they gonna be able. They gonna make up with the WBO. And Errol Spence gonna unify with Olympias and become undisputed. They gonna try to push that. But when Crawford had the belt, they didn't want to fight him. And once again, you know, people say, "Oh, you hating on PBC." Nigga, I don't have no reason to hate on no fucking boxers. You know what I'm saying? Oh, everything I'm saying, it may be a joke sometimes with the memes, and it may be a joke, but every joke got some truth to it. You know, I done provided evidence after evidence after evidence. Of course, you're going to hear fighters say, well, oh, him saved my life. And yeah, you fighting easy fights for top dollar. You know what I'm saying? You getting top dollar for nothing, for doing nothing. But you not, that's like you being a drug dealer. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, you making fast though. No, yeah, you on top, but you destroying your community. You move out your community, and you come back every day and poison the community. You might buy the kids school clothes and act like you trying to get back to the community, but you poisoning the fucking community. The same thing that PBC them they're doing. Even though the fighters are, you know, making good money, they poison in boxing. And people can't see it because they don't know boxing. They ain't never watched boxing before. You know, one of their favorite fighters, you feel me? One of their favorite fighters from Dallas, or he from Houston, or he from Florida, and they got into boxing because of one of their local fighters in there, and they try to act like, and they try to fit in and act like they cut, like they've been watching it for years. They ain't been watching it for years. And then they align themselves with guys that watch boxing in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. Instead of going back doing their homework, they delegate and they get somebody else to co-sign them for clout, to make them look good. Come on, man, I already know the game. You know, then you got the guys that want to discredit the historians that know the game of sport of boxing. You got to know your past to know where you go going in your future. You feel me? So I already know what the game is. People act like, oh, PBC ain't done nothing wrong. I mean, look at Errol Spence's career. 7 years of sitting in neutral. Took 7 years to get a unification bout. And y'all got all the belts on y'all side of the street. Y'all got all the top fighters. Like, that's all I'm saying. But, you know, for Terence Crawford to want to, you know, move up, I think it's, to me, unless Al Heyman is going to ensure him, or he going to get ranked to be the manager, or he know he going to get a shot, it's the same. You stuck in the same position. And now you putting yourself in a position to work harder for you know, you work harder for like what? The same amount of money, because you're going to be fighting title eliminators versus no-name guys probably, you know, but, you know, eventually Errol Spence got to come up there. It's the same. It's going to be the same story. They're going to wait till you 36, 37 years old to try to fight you. But Al Heyman may put J.Rock and them in there with Crawford, because really, none of them have no name up there. Charlo got the best name, but really, everybody, Jamel, he ain't fought nobody. Crawford do bring something to the table, because his welterweight's got a name. They've been around the block a few times. You feel what I'm saying? They've been there, done that. You know, they got somewhat of a buzz. Now he can put them on pay-per-view. Ain't no way he can put none of them junior middleweights on pay-per-view. But he may use Crawford's name to build those guys up. So Crawford may know what he's talking about. But, hey, then again, it's a bigger risk, bigger opponents. And, you know, if you can beat those guys, really, you still ain't going to get no credit. Because those guys haven't established a name in the sport of boxing. You know, they haven't established a name in the sport of boxing. Oh, you know, who did J.Rock really beat? You know, he beat Charlo. He beat Jerry Hurd. It was lucky. Who did this guy really beat? Watch, I'm tell you, they don't have established names up there. You know, but for Crawford, hey, he know what he's doing. But for me personally, it's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't for him, man. You know, damn if you do, damn if you don't. You're in the same position in and there. But if they willing to put their junior middleweights thinking you a small guy, so be it. And I was listening to Ness talk about that sparring he did with Carlos Adames at Gleason's gym. And he was interchanging sparring partners as well, too. That's what they don't tell you. He was interchanging sparring partners, going hard. And people say, Adames tore him up. Yeah, motherfucker, when I'm going 2 rounds with this guy, 2 rounds with that guy, and Carlos Adames come off the bench and he fresh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? What you expect? He gonna fuck me. It's gonna be a tough battle, but just because you sparring with 18, 16-ounce gloves and headgear on, that don't make you a junior middleweight. Just because you hold your own, and people put too much emphasis on sparring. Sparring is a learning tool. Sparring, yeah, you can spar with heavyweights, you can spar with light heavyweights, but you sparring with Wilder, you know, you sparring with Gosvick, you sparring with Beterbiev, and then at the end of the day, it's just sparring. It's just sparring. It's just sparring. Sparring don't mean a goddamn thing. To keep it 100, it's just sparring. You know, you can feel like, oh, I'm sparring the best junior middle, and you get in the ring and a real fight and you get knocked out. But hey, it's Goodfellas Sports TV. Appreciate everybody for checking in. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email. You got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. In addition to that, don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, thehealthblaze.com. Promo code Goodfella1box. Get you 18% off the 100% all natural products. One time for the one time. Goodfellas Sports TV, we go.